Good morning, all. I'm Dr. Aromal Chekavar. I'm a consultant endocrine surgeon in Travancore Medicity, Kollam. Before beginning our talk, we are all facing COVID. I think in this century, the biggest pandemic. So, prayers and salute to all the warriors and all of us to survive. So, starting with the topic. See, in a debate, always we expect something like say, it's a ferocious fight. But in a thyroidology case, we should have a friendly discussion. So, it will be a friendly debate. So, coming to the clinical scenario is a 56-year-old lady. She had an incident in the thyroid nodule, which was having no compressive features, which was on follow-up. On November 2019, she had a low risk nodule, that means a low THARADS 3 nodule of size 2.3 into 2.2 centimeter without retrosternal extension. So patient was on follow-up because it is a benign nodule. The FNAC that time done, it was a cellular FNAC because adequate material was got and it was a Bethesda 2. That means 99% it is a benign lesion. So there was no indication for surgery at that time. So patient was planned for follow-up in discussion with the patient on November 2019. So patient followed up on 2020 May. Still patient is asymptomatic. That means patient doesn't have any compressive features. But patient nodule become hypoechoic and few macro calcifications were there. And THARADS become THARADS 4. That means there is slightly increasing malignancy risk compared to the previous ultrasonograph. And the size of the nodule was increased. Initially, almost it became 2.6 centimeter. So in this clinical scenario, what has to be done? That is a question of debate today. So in this clinical scenario, what is the progression? Like patient is having a hypoechoic nodule and there is progression of THARADS score and progression of size of the nodule. So what my basic concern is, one is risk of malignancy because progression of THARADS score is there. Second thing is, once the nodule becomes bigger and bigger, patient will start having compressive features. Compressive features means patient can have respiratory symptoms like breathlessness, and patient may have swallowing difficulties and voice change. So what is the evidence? Because in this era, people are more talking about doing active surveillance than doing surgery in a thyroid nodule in case of a low risk papillary thyroid cancer. So here the question arises, already patient is not diagnosed as a malignancy. And second FNAC was done after ultrasound, after THARADS score, it was not adequate at that point of time. So one concern is, anyway, it is slightly higher risk of malignancy compared to first THARADS score. And second thing, size is increased. Then why we need a surgery? That is a point of discussion. So as we all, observation is avoid surgery. There is no complication. You can avoid thyroxine if otherwise patient is a euthyroid, and patient can be kept regular follow-up with a dedicated sonologist. And if it is surgery we are doing, it is complete the treatment, isn't it? Because thyroid has been removed. So there is no fear of living with a cancer because always patient will be worried. You are having a nodule and living with that. And you can predict the outcome also. So that's the advantage of surgery. So in such a scenario, we need a dedicated sonologist, dedicated pathologist, and most important thing is patient should have a good compliance. Patient should be ready to come and visit us regularly and to undergo all these things. And patient should be ready and well aware of the fact that there may be a possibility of malignancy or there may be lesion that can progress and compress. So regular follow-up also may be required. So as I already mentioned, if a patient is having a thyroid nodule and patient is having thyroid nodule, that we have to follow up. So we have to send the patient regularly for a sonography. So we have to tell our sonologist, you have to assess the measurements. Is it increasing in size? Or is there any new nodules occurring? Or is there any central compartment nodes or lateral compartment nodes? You can well see in this picture, it's a studies from Legic. In that, it is well mentioned, there is always a inter-observer and intra-observer variability in assessment of nodules. So this is very important. In such a scenario, we should have a good dedicated sonologist and you should be well informed about it. Second, you can send a patient for FNAC. In the same patient, the first FNAC was cellular eucoticline Bethesda 2 nodule. But if you see the second FNAC, it was scanned, the cellularity was less, and it was inconclusive. That means Bethesda 1. So as you all see here, in an FNAC of thyroid nodule, the sensitivity may range from 65 to 90. So there is a high possibility, there is a low like low quality FNAC maybe 65% only. So you're going to miss almost 35 cases. So that is also very important. So we cannot completely rely on that. It depends on person to person. You need a dedicated team for that. So as I mentioned, dedicated pathologist and dedicated radiologist is very much required in this scenario. So my concern is zonologist inter-observer variability is there. Pathology sampling should be adequate. Second, pathology report should be adequate, and patient should be well aware that there is a possibility of progression in terms of risk of malignancy, and already the size is around 2.6 centimeter. So the chance of having lymph nodes also high, risk of malignancy may be slightly high, and always patient should be informed that you may able to have you can have a malignancy, you can progress. So if the size of the, as we already seen, the size of the nodule is increasing in size. So once the nodule become larger in size, there will be more compressive symptoms, and there will be more surgery will be more complex. Morbidity will be slightly higher than the smaller nodule. That is also my concern about it. So as I mentioned already, size matters. So if you see a nodule as such, when the size increases, the compressive features increases. Already our size is around 2.2 initially, and it is progressing. So once it progresses to 3 centimeter plus, the compressive features will increase. Then I already mentioned, even though the nodule is benign, if the compressive features are increasing, and surgery complexity also may increase, because as you all know, there's a slight risk of complication in thyroidectomy, even in experienced, and especially when the nodules become larger and it is having retrosternal extension and all those things. So here one concern is size is increasing, compressive symptoms can increase, and the morbidity of surgery also can increase. Second thing, if you see natural history of benign thyroid nodule, almost 40% will slowly increase in size. So there is a probability that this swelling can go increase in size, and it can cause more compression and more retrosternal extension and all. And if you see the natural history of goiters, almost in a mean follow-up of 5 years, 16% of cases had a hyperthyroidism. So that is always a possibility that if you are keeping a long-standing goiter for more than 5 years or 13 years, slightly the hyperthyroidism risk also increases. So hyperthyroidism risk also increases the surgical morbidity also. So first of all, if it's a benign nodule, if you're thinking the Thyroid's criteria, we are doing FNAC, it's a benign thing. Even though if it is benign, the compressive features increases, the morbidity of surgery may increase slightly, and the surgical complexity also increases, even though if it's benign. And just if you come in the second part of our discussion, the TERAD score, as we mentioned, it was 3%. Initially on the TERADS 3 category, it was in American Asia TERADS category, and in the second visit it is TERADS 4 category. You can well make out in this diagram, almost up to the 3, the risk of malignancy is 2.9%. Once it is entering into 4A in actually this TERADS category is based on packet or TERADS. Even ACR 4 will be category 4A in this TERADS category. It's almost 12.3% risk of malignancy in TERADS 4. So because our malignancy risk jumped from 2.9 to almost 12.3, almost 10% increases there. So there is a high concern over this nodule that it may be malignant, because our FNAC is also not conclusive in this case. So if the nodule of 2.6 centimeter, we have to follow up, we have to always mention the patient. In this chart, you can well make out if the lesion is almost 2 centimeter, size of chance of nodal metastasis is around 15% compared to 3.5% in 0.5 centimeter lesion. So the size increases. If it is malignant, there may be a high risk of nodal metastasis also. So coming to the picture, and the most important thing is, so now we are going to counsel the patient, telling that, okay, we have to observe surgery. The first thing we should tell, there is a risk of malignancy. If the risk of malignancy is that if it's 2.6 centimeter, there is a chance of a nodal metastasis. The third thing, if it is benign, there may be chance of compressive feature. And most important thing, if you are convincing somebody for active surveillance, we doesn't know how patient will be feeling. So the quality of life of the patient is very important, because there's not much studies about quality of life for people who are living with a cancer. So I think that is very important to study, because then only we can follow up this patient. So you have to ask the patient, are you want to live with fear? And are you worried? And your quality is okay. And patient may have litigation issues in future, because if it is a malignancy, it is progressing, the nodal metastasis is increasing. So it can't be taken if it's active surveillance. But in this scenario, because of all these things, I always like a buffet rather than going for a single course dinner, because counseling is most important. As I already mentioned, we have to sit with the patient. Both endocrinologist and endocrine surgeon should sit with the patient, and we have to give an option. You can go for active surveillance. These are the pros and cons, or you can go for a surgery. So you have to give counsel the patient. You have to go. So multidisciplinary team approach is very important in this case. So let the patient choose surgery versus no surgery, or surgery now or future, or chance of compression and extension of surgery, extensive surgery. It's all depending on patient. So we have to involve the patient also in the discussion, counsel them. So as I always mention, see, whenever we used to follow cricket, Sunil Gavaskar was a classy defensive player, but later Virendra Sehwag came. He was always like an aggressive player. He always played in front foot. But I think for a thyroidologist, most important is like Rahul Dravid. Best techniques, involve the patient, let the patient choose. We can counsel the patient. More reliable kind of approach. So conclusion is no routine selection, multidisciplinary team approach, involve the patient in decision making, and wise selection in large tumors and progressive tumors. Because two reasons: compressive features, and there is more risk of a nodal metastasis. And wise selection in cases of having progression in TERADS. Thank you. Any questions?